Do you know your personality type? And do you know your communication style? Well, here on Boss Up Goddess, I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I love exploring these powerful questions that can help you live bigger, better, and bolder. That's why our guest tonight, Lisa Frank, is going to help us understand our personality types. She even has an exercise for you to do to help you figure out how you communicate and relate with other people, personally and professionally. This is so exciting. So hold on. Let me tell you about this dynamic woman you're about to meet. She is a certified life coach and speaker with the John Maxwell program, which is amazing. She is a professional cellist in the Rogue Valley Symphony. She's also a certified tarot reader, which I love. And she has this unique ability of using all those skills together as founder of Camino Life Coaching and Consulting. So she does this wonderful program called a DISC Personality Indicator Report. She just did mine. It's so exciting. And she analyzes how you relate to yourself and the world. It's awesome, super empowering. And that's what Boss Up Goddess is all about, figuring out ourselves to be bigger, better, and bolder. And Lisa Frank is about to help us do that. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you for inviting me here. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. So, your message is all about communication is everything, and communication is what enables us to connect with people personally and professionally. So, can you first talk about what is this DISC personality indicator report and why we should get one?
Right. So we all have kind of an idea and an intuition about other people, but to actually find out and get a 30-page report all about us and what our preferences are, what our tendencies are, what our behaviors are, what our greatest fear is, and how that informs how we relate to other people. It not only gives us information about ourselves, but it also helps us know how to modify our go-to stance for being able to connect better with others. So not just about information but really actually connecting with those people.
So when you sent me my report yesterday, I was so excited because it said people with similar personalities to yours. And it said Dr. Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, and Mahatma Gandhi. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. But it was so amazing how answering these questions that you sent me on the survey revealed such an accurate assessment or a report about me. So how does that work, Lisa? What does this tell us? Like, what can we do with it?
What can we do with it? It's actually liberating. So it's not only finding out what our style is, and when I say what our style is, it's whether we're more outgoing, whether we're more reserved. We may know that already, but it's knowing when you really know that you're more people oriented or more task oriented or what's motivating that, then it actually frees you because you can say, okay, now I get what's going on. And now I know what's going on with that other person that I'm trying to communicate with. And they're just like, have you ever had an experience where you're talking to somebody, like let's say there's somebody and they're just like in your face, right? They're confrontational, like, or they're just coming, or maybe they're just high energy. It doesn't even have to be something like, and they're, hey, but the person over here, if they're more reserved, they're like smiling and nodding, and they're, oh yes, I'll have it in 2 days. Yes, no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
And then that person will go away and they'll like totally not do the thing in 2 days. And they're like, what happened? You said yes and everything, but it's because I was already shut down and just trying to get to safety away from this person who was confrontational. So if any of you have ever had this kind of smile and nod experience, and then it was like, I thought we were clear, I thought you agreed, and obviously not. They weren't there.
Wow. So this is an excellent tool of self-discovery, which is always very fun and really important for the whole Boss Up Goddess mission to understand how you work inside. Why and what it does is establish how you were at birth, right, Lisa? And then how you've evolved and how you interact with people, right?
Right. It's kind of like the muscles you're born with, the muscles you use throughout your life, and what's being called on to use now, what people are
Uh-huh.
expecting from you.
So, can you explain? So, for example, someone comes to you for coaching and you do the report for them, and then you're able to provide guidance to them on their strengths, weaknesses, just personality traits, so that perhaps they can apply that to their career success and their personal relationships.
Right. And also the coaching relationship. If I know that somebody is, so there are four personality styles. There's DISC, right? So there's the D is the dominant, decisive. I'm going to give them bullet points. We're just going to get to it. If we're done early, we're done early.
Uh
We're done.
huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Because they're like, I've got an agenda, I've
Oh,
got results, I got to get things done. The I is the influencing style. Those are your communicators, those are your cheerleaders. They're going to talk through the process of their ideas and they're going to
uh
want to
huh.
share them.
Uh
And,
huh.
and they're also your dream makers. They're going to get all pumped up about your idea.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
Okay.
The S is steady, stable, needs security, not big on change, can adjust, but give them time to,
Mm-hmm.
and more reserved. And the C is compliant. They are going to know what the rules are. They're detail oriented. Precision, accuracy are all very important.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to avoid criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the four styles.
So those four personality styles. So I was first introduced to this when my sister Catherine explained what a disc profile is. And she said, when you're hiring somebody, for example, I'm more of like the visionary creative type, and the little tiny tedious details sometimes drive me crazy. And I'm not, it takes a lot of brain energy to complete those tasks. And so I need someone, if I'm going to hire someone, I need someone who's really good at all those little tasks with numbers and all this Excel spreadsheets and stuff, right? So knowing their disc profile and mine enables to me to create a good work environment. Is that right?
Well, it's two things I want to say about that.
Okay.
One, it's a great tool because if you interview somebody, who are you going to spark with? You're going to spark with somebody that's just like you.
Yes,
Right?
right.
And you're not going to get that person that's going to be the detail oriented if that's not your style. Having said that, so yes, DISC is a great tool as one piece of information. I would
Oh.
never recommend that somebody just say, well, the discs look complimentary, let's go. There's so much more to a person. And also, I'll just put in this caveat that each of us is all four disc styles. Each of us has everything in us that we pull up depending on the context and who we're with. So like, let's say you were totally task oriented, you're all about the list and to do, and people are not, you're like extreme. Everything today, I mean, we're talking extreme example. So of
Mhm.
course there's a continuum and it's different and unique for each person, of course. I keep thinking of Life of Brian. We are all individuals. But even if you were somebody just fixated on reports and color coding and everything like that in detail, if somebody you loved was in dire need, you would become an incredible caregiver
Mhm.
and you would pull that up. And then
Mhm.
what it would look like in the disc is like, boom.
Wow. Okay, so you have an exercise for us to
I
do tonight, right?
do.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have paper handy and a pen,
Mhm.
great. If not, I'm sure if you're here, you're creative, you can imagine this. So we'll start with a horizontal line. All right.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. We can imagine that.
I got it. I got paper here. I'm ready.
Okay. So now I'm going to describe a scenario. Let's say you're in front of a bank of elevators and the elevators, I know we have to think back to pre-COVID times.
Okay.
actually dare to go into an elevator. I know this is asking a lot, but so you're in front of the elevator, the elevator doors are about to open, and you're saying, I hope there's nobody on the elevator. Like, I don't want to deal with that. Do we make eye contact? Do I look at the floor? And you know how when you go in an elevator, there's always this always fascinates me. There's always this choreography that happens where people equidistance from one another, and it's symmetrical. And it happens every time. But you're standing in front of this elevator and you're just saying, let the doors open, let nobody be in there. See, I'm even holding my breath. Let me just get up to my floor.
Uh-huh.
If that sounds like you, then put yourself on this part of the sheet.
Okay.
So that's reserved. That's the reserved part of the thing. Now, if you're in front of those elevators, like think about a conference, like, oh my God, I haven't seen these people since the last time. I hope I see Mary. I hope I see Bob. I hope I run into them. And if not, I wonder who my next best friend is going to be. That's going to be on that elevator. I can't wait. I'm so excited and curious.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if that's the case, then put yourself up here in the outgoing top of the sheet.
All right. Uh-huh.
And next, we're going to make another line. And this time, we're going to make a vertical line. So we have this.
Got it.
Thing here. Okay, so now I'm going to give you another scenario. This time you're planning a trip. Okay, we can still go to the coast, right? We're in Oregon. Well, I'm in Oregon. I can go to the coast. You can't. I'm sorry.
Lake Michigan.
All right. So you're planning your trip to Lake Michigan. I'm like, and in my bag I packed. So if you're thinking, and in my bag I packed, and you're making out that list for what you're bringing, and you're thinking, okay, let me get the card checked. I haven't filled a spare in a while. You know, you're thinking about, okay, the weather's here, but the weather's going to be there, and we're going to make a reservation. And you've got this whole list going. If that's you, then put yourself on this side of the sheet. For me, to the left.
Okay.
All
Trip
right.
list. Okay.
Trip list. Like if you're thinking about all the things you have to do, like who's going to do my show? I got to make sure there's Wi-Fi when I'm there because I want to keep doing it. I've got my to-do things to do.
Right.
So if you're thinking, like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Legally Blonde. Have you ever seen
with Reese Witherspoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my go-to in graduate school. So it was when I thought, she could do it. I'm going to get right back in there. So there's this scene in the beginning where Elle Woods, she's surrounded by all these law books, these law review books. And her friends come in, they see her surrounded by these books, and it's in the sorority house, and they're saying, and I know it's typecasting, it's awful, but they're saying, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And she's saying, girls, I'm going to Harvard. And they're like, on vacay? Let's all go road trip.
Oh, okay, right. Yes.
You know, if you're thinking about, I don't care what we're doing, we're going to go, we're going to have fun. And you're thinking about the people, you're thinking about the friends. Okay. That's going to put yourself on this sheet, on this side, for me, it's the right side.
Oh, so on the left, it's task oriented, and on the right, it's fun.
Right.
Oh, wow. I don't want to have to choose between those two.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
And I know why it's so hard for you.
Why?
Because we just did a debrief. And what did we discover?
Oh, that I have both. I'm the IC. I see.
Right. The I is people and outgoing. And the C is task and reserved.
Oh my goodness. Conflict.
You have to make friends with yourself. Right.
You have to make friends with yourself. That is awesome. Okay, I'll take that. I mean, the taskmaster versus the child within that wants to just go ride my bike. I got you there.
You've got to be the mom and the kid.
Okay.
Or the dad disciplinarian, you know, making.
Oh, wow.
But I can't see any comments, but if the people, if you're out there and if you can find the intersection between these, I'm going to put the letters in there. I know this isn't going to be very pretty, but here we go.
Wow, this is fascinating.
So that's, and again,
Oh,
we're all of these, but 1, 2, or 3 usually are going to dominate. And by dominate, it's going to be above the line in these graphs that come with the report.
uh-huh. Okay.
And the cool thing about it is like when you know, then you understand, like instead of, so let's say we got together and the first thing I said was, Elizabeth, I want to, and then I thought, oh my God, I didn't even ask her how she was feeling. She was so, I did, and I'm going like beating myself up because I forgot. But it's like, if I'm a D, I'm not going to be thinking about you first. I'm going to be thinking about what needs to get done.
Oh,
So I can
okay.
stop self-flagellating.
Flagellating. Oh, that's such a terrible word. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I have like a, right. Yeah. But
Okay.
when you understand it, you can say, okay, I get it,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow, that's awesome. So this is so cool. So it helps you understand yourself and acknowledge traits about ourselves and make friends with ourselves. And then Lisa, can you talk about how you integrate the tarot, which is fascinating?
Okay, well, I integrate tarot cards with my coaching because we are visual beings, and it's the same premise. Coaching and tarot for me are the same premise. I'll tell you what I mean. Coaching, we have the client and the coach.
Mhm.
Tarot, we have the questioner and the reader.
Ooh.
Coaching, the agenda, well, first of all, we start with the foundation of the client is strong, wise, capable. They have the answers. They're going to come up with them. The coach isn't going to give them the answer. That's an advisor or a consultant or something else.
Uh-huh.
It's all on the client to come up with their own solutions.
Mhm.
Same thing in tarot. Nobody knows you. It's the same thing. Nobody knows you better than you. Who would know you better than you would know you?
Right.
Who's
Okay.
going to come up with your answers for you? Who's going to come up with the best answer for you that knows you the best? It's
Uh-huh.
out of you. So let's say we're in a situation where you came to me with some kind of issue or something you wanted to focus on, and I said, Elizabeth, I got it. All you have to do is ABC. Now let's say 5 months from now, you would have come up with ABC. So I've come up with the same exact solution. Hey, I've saved you 5 months. But
Oh,
guess what?
wow.
It's not going to be your solution
Mm.
because it's not your solution until you've gone through the process and recognize it as your solution.
Ooh, that wow. That's the essence of coaching then, right? Be
And tarot, because what do you see in the card? What do you recognize? Like, so we're talking about the D
uh-huh.
cell.
Uh-huh.
Ds are really good at making decisions. They are so good at making decisions. They don't even need facts or information. They'll just
Mm.
they'll just go forth just like this. So if
Ooh.
you know somebody that's D-wired that just plunges ahead with that sword out there, not aware of who he might cut, where he's going,
Not
what's
good.
behind him,
Uh-huh.
just, but that's
Mhm.
somebody that's totally results oriented, that's not thinking
Oh.
about all the other things.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow,
So,
fascinating.
right. So the cards I use to, sometimes I just do a reading, but sometimes it's for somebody to recognize.
So will you explain, please, what is tarot or tarot? What is it?
Okay. So for me, tarot cards, it's a deck of cards, much like playing cards. There are 4 suits. So instead of the playing card ones, we have swords, cups, and we have pentacles or coins. And we also have wands, but batons, kind of sticks. So, and each
Uh-huh.
one of them it symbolizes something. So let's say cups. Think about a cup, right? A cup holds liquid. A cup is something when somebody comes over, what do? You offer them a drink.
Mhm.
So cups is about hospitality. Cups is about family gatherings and friends. It's about milestones, and think about trophies. What's a trophy? It's a cup.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. And often liquids are we equate with emotions, like,
Mhm.
you know, I cried a river of tears. Well, guess what happens when you invert the cup? The tears come out, the
Mhm.
water comes out.
Oh,
So each of those,
wow, fascinating.
yeah, so each of them you can look at like that. So there are four suits. There are, just like playing cards, 1 to 10. We call them the minor arcana. For each suit, there's 1 through 10, and then there's court cards. Instead of the three that we have in playing cards, there are four. So there's a page,
Mhm.
a knight, a queen, and a king.
Oh.
And then on top of that, there's what we call the major arcana, and there are 21 cards. No, there's 22. There are 22 major arcana, and it's known as the Fool's Journey. So it
Oh.
starts, and they're all like, it starts with a fool just kind of going off the cliff.
Uh-huh.
So just kind of like a teenager feeling invulnerable and ready for adventure.
Uh-huh.
And also you could look at it as a leap of faith. Like when you're ready to do something and you're like, but you do it anyway,
Uh-huh.
that's the fool. Now, when you
Oh.
do it the second time and you're repeating a pattern that didn't work so well, that's the fool reversed.
Mm.
So, and then,
Wow.
right, and then the cards go on. So the fool meets the magician, and meets the high priestess, and meets the empress, and all the way on to the world, to gaining the world.
Mhm.
And then it goes again, it starts again.
Mhm.
So all these
Wow.
beautiful illustrations.
Uh-huh. I love it. And is it linked to intuition, or like is it just random draw of the cards, or is there some higher power message behind it?
Okay, I can only tell you what I do,
Okay.
because I'm sure it's different for everybody. Um, I trust the cards. I've
Mm.
had, my sister gave me cards like way long ago, and I just
Uh-huh.
trust them.
Mhm.
So I trust that whatever cards come out, those are the cards.
Oh, I love it. And the message that they're conveying for the
And
person
then
you're reading for.
right. And then as far as reading, it's kind of like a mission statement. So it has to do with the question.
Uh-huh.
So when somebody asks a question, I write down the question, because
Uh-huh.
the cards are so beautiful. It's so easy, and there's so much going on in them. It's easy to get lost. And then you
Uh-huh.
have like mission creep, right?
Uh.
Here's our mission, but oh, look at this. Oh,
Mission creep.
right. And it's like the game of telephone. Like we start here, and by the time we get to the end, we have a totally different, we're not answering the question.
Mm.
So somebody asks a question, I write down the question, and then I look at the card, depending on, there's this different spreads, but I lay the cards out in the appropriate spread.
Mhm.
And then I look at the card, and, so you can see things like, here's the Chariot.
Mhm.
So there's two. So maybe there's a decision, right? So maybe there's two different ways you can go, but the person's in control, right? So here,
Mm.
maybe they're not in control,
Mhm.
but it always relates back to the question. So I don't memorize meanings of the cards. I look at the card. So if you ask me a question, I would look at the card and then see what I notice, because there's so much to notice here. So
Yes, they're
there's
so
the
rich.
chariot, right? There's a town in the back.
Uh-huh.
There's grass, there's the sphinxes, there's the
Uh-huh.
chariot, there's the moon, the stars here. So
Uh-huh.
so I trust that I will grab, so it may be a little intuition. I trust that I will gravitate towards what I need to see to tie it back to the question in a way that what I make is, this is from John Ballantrae, who I watch a lot. He explains tarot really wonderfully and philosophically and everything. And it's making sense of the card, so that I know I trust that I am going to see and talk about something that is going to resonate with the questioner, that they can then say,
Oh.
they can recognize what they need to know.
I love that. That's so powerful. It's really awesome when you get a reading and the message really resonates and it sticks with you and it helps you maybe even make a decision or just understand what's going on. It's really awesome. It's so cool that you offer that service, Lisa. So your story is so exemplary to the whole Boss Up Goddess mission because it's all about having those wake up moments, those transformations. And one of yours occurred in 2013 when you were in Santiago, Chile. Can you share that, please?
Yes. So I was leaving, I moved home from Pittsburgh. I lived in Pittsburgh for like, I don't know, a really long time. And you ever have those moments where the universe is pushing you?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like everything in Pittsburgh closed down for me. And in retrospect, it's like if the universe said, you know, you better be in Washington, D.C. by that date, you better be there. I got there like right here.
Mm.
The universe pushed me back. But because of whatever had gone in Pittsburgh, I felt like I needed to heal. Like I didn't have a job. I came back home because the universe was pushing me back to where my parents lived, and I knew I needed to heal. For me, walking is healing. And the year before, my sister and brother-in-law had walked the Camino, and
Wait, what's that for those
okay,
of
I'm
us
sorry.
who aren't
The
familiar?
Camino de Santiago is a very old pilgrimage route.
Oh, okay. And
So
you start at a certain point and you end up at a destination or
yes, and it's also said that you start your Camino when you walk out your door.
ooh,
So
okay. And what's supposed to happen?
there's nothing supposed to happen. It's each pilgrim walks their own Camino, and that's kind of acknowledged throughout. So when you're walking the Camino, pilgrims would say buen camino, like have, you're walking your own. There's no rules. Nobody gets upset if you walk together for a little bit and then say, you know what, I'm just going to stay here for a little bit. Or, you know what, I want to
Mm.
keep going. I feel like I need to walk. No offense taken. It's not personal because everybody there knows it's an unspoken rule that everybody walks their own Camino. And the other thing about the Camino too is you expect a miracle every day and you get a miracle every
What?
day. It actually,
Oh
it's
my goodness. Is it like out in the wilderness or
you
where is
are
it?
walking across northern Spain. So the Camino starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France. Then you go, and I did not do that. I started in Pamplona. You go up and over the Pyrenees, down to Roncesvalles, and then to Pamplona, which is where I started. And then you walk. You walk through northern Spain, through towns, through vineyards, through I'm trying to remember now, the Galicia. you walk
Oh,
through all different things.
beautiful.
Right. And many pilgrims, whether they're expecting or not, are transformed by the Camino. And I wasn't going there with any expectations. I just knew. So I was saying in 2012, when my sister and her husband walked and they sent these pictures, I said, oh my gosh, I want to, these pictures are beautiful. That's got me,
Yeah.
that's got me a couple of places. Seeing photographs got me to Chile, to the Torres del Paine, and it also got me to Sweden to see the Northern Lights. But this time
Wow.
it got me to the
Oh my
Camino.
gosh.
Right. And I'll say that
Wow.
there were 3 phases of that trip. The beginning, I got there, hadn't prepared at all. I had just left an apartment in Pittsburgh. I finished cleaning to get my deposit back, got to DC, and then was on a plane the next day.
Oh my goodness. And how long was the pilgrimage?
I started Pamplona in July 21st, and then got to Santiago, and then went 3 days more to Finisterre, translated as the end of the earth. And that's where I felt like then my pilgrimage was over, not Santiago, but Finisterre. And then another day's walk to Murcia, and then back in time to get to Madrid to spend a day in the Prado.
Wow.
Wonderful.
So
And then,
what
yeah.
was the transformation? And the miracle and the transformation, what was it? What happened for you there?
Okay, so it began with the first 2 weeks were awful. I wasn't prepared. I was using like new boots. I had blisters. I had heat welts up my leg. It was like in the 90s.
Oh my
I
gosh.
I felt like, what am I doing here? And and I had, yeah, it was just like the first 2 weeks was like, I don't want to fail. And that was like the only thing that kept me going is like, I don't want to fail. I'll just take the next step. 2 weeks into it, I ended up walking with somebody and got to the destination like in record time. And it was like, huh, I'm stronger than I thought. Hmm. And that
Wow.
started the phase of community where I get
Oh.
together. Before that, I was basically on my own.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like people would get together for dinner or whatever.
Oh.
And then what happened after got to Santiago. Santiago was really hard on me. Instead of being this great celebratory, I made it to Santiago. It was really tough because in an instant, when you get your Compostela, your certificate, you go from being a pilgrim to being a tourist in an
Oh.
instant. And it was like, I don't like this. And so I was relieved to be able to put the backpack on again and head off to Finisterre. And that's where on the rocks looking across the Atlantic Ocean, and I know the United States is on the other side of the ocean, I thought, okay, now I'm ready to go home.
Oh,
That
wow.
was a transformation. As far as the miracles, things would happen every day. For instance, there was one part of the Camino that goes up over the mountains as opposed to on the road. Most people just went on the road. I wanted to do the Camino Duro, up over the mountain because I didn't want to be on the road. I wanted to be on dirt. I wanted to be
Okay.
nature. And by then I was walking with a young woman from Germany, and we hadn't seen anybody all day. And we got to a part, and you're following these little signs. Well, we didn't see any sign. We got to a fork in the path, and we're like, what do we do? And right then, we hadn't seen anybody. Somebody came along, go that way. And that happened more than once.
Wow. Wow. Fascinating. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, just the transformation that happened is that I came there kind of like defeated, destroyed, the light gone from my eyes.
uh-huh.
And at the end, it was radiant. I like
Oh,
it was like the dirt all went away, like the gold shone through.
oh, that's amazing. If everybody could be blessed with such a transformative, miraculous experience. I love it when those things happen in your life and you realize, wow, this is not a coincidence. That's awesome, Lisa. That is so cool. And now you bring that energy, that radiance, that sunshine to the coaching that you do for people to help them light up inside as well and be that radiant light for others like you are. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's just like the Camino. Everybody has to walk their own journey. A coach walks alongside you,
Mhm.
but there's no shortcut around the work.
Mhm. Right. Oh my gosh, that's true. It's work. But that's what the show is all about, is to showcase how to do the work and what the results can be when you commit. Because there's nothing more glorious than those epiphany moments and you realize, wow, I really have changed for the better. And you help people do that, Lisa. Is there anything you'd like to share with viewers about, stepping forward, doing a disc report, um, and the importance of getting help, like working with a coach? Because I know that we think we can do things on our own, but a coach can see your blind spots. Your coach can see patterns that you have that we're so used to we can't see, and therefore we can't fix. So what's your message on that?
Here's my message. I graduated from International Coach Federation coaching program at Duquesne University in 2014. For the next 6 years, I made these attempts. Like I build a website, or I get a business name, or I do this and that. but nothing ever came together to actually do what I'm doing now
Uh-huh.
until last July, where so it took 6 years. So just like in the beginning, I was telling you, if I came up with a solution from you, it wouldn't be your solution, even if it
Right.
was ultimately your solution.
Yes.
6 years later, I thought, maybe I need a coach.
Oh my gosh, the coach needs a coach.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true though. It's true because something wasn't clicking.
Something wasn't pulling together, and the coach holds the space for you, believes in you, and holds that space that yes, you're going to, it's waiting for you, it's going to be
Uh-huh.
there, and they walk alongside you to make sure it happens. This
Oh,
is great. It's a tool. Tarot cards, they're tools. It's all tools. It's whatever, it's customized to whatever the client needs in what they want to focus on.
I love it. I love it. Lisa, can you share how people can find you?
Sure. They can find me on my website. And then there's a contact sheet there. And so that's CaminoCoachingConsulting.com. I'm also on Facebook Live. I have a business page for Camino Coaching and Consulting.
Mm-hmm.
And every Monday at 4, I'm on Facebook Live, where I'm using it as a playground, because yes, I'm exploring too.
Uh-huh.
And so right now, actually, we're talking about disc, and
Uh-huh.
I did something on the D's last time, and this week we're going to look at the I's,
Oh, I
or I
love
might do a
it.
little bit more on the D's now that I've kind of got all these different cards out. But
Uh-huh.
so we're going to be just talking about disc for a while, and using tarot
Oh,
to
perfect.
talk about it. Yes.
Awesome. So that's Mondays at 4 Pacific on your Facebook Live
And then
program.
right, and then most Thursdays, but not this coming Thursday, I also do an hour through Eventbrite, where people can register for a whole hour about disc, and
Mm-hmm.
everything's complimentary, everything's free. So, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just to go a little bit deeper into the behaviors, the different disc styles, and do's and don'ts for each style.
Uh-huh. Okay, cool. I'll put all those links in the description box so people can participate and learn more. Your website is so beautiful. It has such pretty pictures and colors. I love it.
Michael Erickson is my designer, and
Mhm.
he's amazing.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Wow. Well, thank you, Michael, for creating such a beautiful website because it's just delicious to look at. So, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me here on Boss Up Goddess. Can you tell me what that means to you when I say Boss Up Goddess?
Freedom, just to have the courage. I mean, it's what I'm doing right now. It's to have the courage to say, I'm tired of hiding or yielding to pressures or being afraid. Like, let me just be me for a change. Let me, not for change, like from now on, let me just experiment and play, and just erupt and be. Let me let it out, and let me live the life I'm supposed to. It's like, let me do things that align with the energy. If it gives me energy, I'm going for it. If it doesn't, no more.
Woohoo! Yeah, I
And
love that.
I want to thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Yes, and I just have to say your gorgeous haircut is indicative of your message because when I saw you yesterday, your hair was way longer and then this is like your fun, wild and free to be me. Look, I
Right.
love it. Love it, love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Goodbye, 2020. We're going forward.
Well, I hope that when COVID is over, we're going to have the roaring 2020s and we're all just going to party like never before.
I'm ready.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, Lisa. So we can party and know our disc report so we can have the best time ever.
Then we know what kind of party that we're up for.
Right. Right. Thank you so much for joining me, Lisa. This has been amazing. And everybody, please go to her website. You can find it in the description box so you can learn more. And this is really empowering information. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and this is Boss Up Goddess. And I'm here to showcase trailblazing women like Lisa Frank who share their wisdom to help us all live bigger, better, and bolder. If you're getting value out of this program, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear your thoughts on this, especially if you did that exercise that Lisa led us on. And remember, boss up, goddess. You have the power. I'll see you next time.